Welcome to the first devlog for the game Project Rimshot. Since this is the first devlog, I'm just going to give you an introduction about it, and then I'll let my one of my friends talk about some shit, and then I'll talk about some more stuff. Let's get into it. So I'm Grant, and I'm working on this project with two friends, one named Kadani, one named Matt. And so this game is going to be like a Wii golf game, but we're going to add some interesting stuff to it. First of all, it's not going to be golf, it's going to be frisbee golf. It's a big change there. And then we're going to add some roguelike elements to make it so you got some replayability, but there's going to be some funness going on there. I'm not going to spoil it all yet, but yeah, hopefully you can stick around for the whole journey. Let's start it off with my friend Kadani to tell you about the roguelike elements.
Good day, everyone. My name's Kadani, and I'm going to be going over the main roguelike mechanics. Since Slay the Spire 2 has taken the world by storm, I'll be explaining our mechanics if this was Slay the Spire. Keeping in mind that this is in the early stages of development, so things will change, and we will update you on them. Let's begin. Alright, so edicts. These are what your build is. This is your choose from 3. This is what you are going to get at the start of each world. So what are edicts? These are named after this definition that we found on Wikipedia. These are key items that will fundamentally change how you play the game. You won't find anywhere else. They will modify the specific disc that you have chosen for it. It will also adjust the visual of the disc. Now that we got over that, let's talk about memories. Memories. You get these from the interactive NPCs in the game. This is our rough drawing of what would happen. You would land into the circle, and the NPC will talk to you. Let's go more into this. Okay, so what are memories? Memories are from other NPCs or from the character that you recovered. So you will use strokes and navigate towards the NPCs on the map. They will also affect how you look, not the disc, how you, the character, will look during your run. Now, lastly, the virtues. The virtues, you get this from the God NPCs. As you can see here, you clearly noticed God NPCs. At least now you did, but God NPCs. These will show up once an act. So what is the difference between these God NPCs, these virtues, and, well, the normal memories? Well, I wanted to say these are the emotions that you have had returned. The memories and the emotions are separate things, and these gods are giving them back to you. Virtues are very good boons. If you can read the side over here, 33% more strokes. That's very good. Very good. And they will also be gifted sins. So you will get one and the other. They will be paired together and you will get to choose. They are going to be much more annoying to get to. They're like surrounded by obstacles, or it'll just take on average more strokes to get to these. This will affect all unless specified. That is everything I wanted to talk about, and we'll bring it back to Grant to close.
Welcome back. Now, I'm going to run you through some code, because I feel like you should always learn something in a devlog. That's like the fun part about it. You have to learn what the game is, and now let me show you what I got here, and then I'll show you how I did it. So what we're going to learn is dynamic cameras. You see whenever I click basically, a small tap, that means you lightly tap. It just kind of moves the camera a little bit away. And if you hold down a little bit, it just follows it. And then, see when it comes back, you hold it down a lot here. A lot. It does a wide throw. And then it cuts to close up. Fairly simple. I'll show you how I did that. So, if we go to the player, we have 3 player cameras. We have the main camera, that's the one that's right here behind him. We got the action camera close, which is the one to the left here for whenever it's a short shot. We have the sky one, which is the one way up here to watch, and I have a script on it to follow along. And then we have the action camera follow, which whenever you throw a disc, it'll follow along with it till it lands. Yeah. So now that you have an idea of how I laid it out, where I have 3 of them are parented to the, or childrened to the player. That way they always are in the right angle. And then the camera follow just has a script on it to follow after the disc. So let's jump into the code for it. Actually, before that, let's look at the managers. So we first have a camera manager. So I like to use managers for as much as possible. So I put in, if we see here, I have the main camera and the 3 other cameras all just referenced here in a public script that I can call from anywhere. So I can edit the cameras from any script I have without having to drag instances into the player. So I don't have to drag cameras into here at all. I can just have it all in a camera manager. Alright, let's jump into the scripts. So we first have the look at disc camera. So this is this is attached to the high ups camera and the close up camera. So these are just they look at the disc. And I bet you're wondering, how do we get a disc? Because the disc here is, we instantiate a new disc every time we throw it. So what I'm doing is I'm simply getting the disc and I'm throwing it to these camera instances. So every one of these scripts, for each of the cameras, we have the follow camera and the look at disc and look at disc. The look at disc can be used twice for the high up camera and the low up camera, and I just simply pass the disc and then I grab that transform, and now I can just look at it. It's a very easy script, very simple. And the follow camera, it's you grab the disc, set it to it, set a transform to it, and then you simply follow the disc with a little smooth dampening so that it looks at it nice and has a smooth effect to it. And now we have the camera manager. This is the more convoluted part, which is switching the cameras, which is still pretty simple. And so for this, I made an array. And for this array, it's simply, you just store the cameras in a way to so you can mass disable them all at once, or you can mass enable them. It's just an easy way to use it. And to start, we just switch to the main camera. And so to switch to the main camera, you have the reference to the main camera, and you can switch to it. So on awake or on start, we're swapping to the player camera. And then we first disable all the cameras. That's why we made this array to disable them all. So you're disabling every camera, and if you have audio listeners on them, you disable them so you don't get any million warnings on your screen. And then you just simply enable the target camera, which is the one we passed here, which is main camera. And so anytime we want to switch camera, we can just call this script and we can switch it. So let's look here. If we go to disk flight. So disk flight is called every time a disk is instantiated and is flying. So we have 2 things here. Whenever the disk lands on the ground, we need to, of course, change the camera. So right here, you can see we're switching the camera to main camera because we've already landed and now we want to get back into main. And then we have handle flight cameras. Zoom out a bit so you can see it all. Yeah. And so this is a simple camera. And what happens is we have 3 types of throws. We have a medium throw, a heavy throw, and a weak throw. And so the heavy throw, that's whenever I held it really long and you saw how the camera went wide so you could see the whole throw. The medium throw just follows it the entire time, and the weak throw has a camera close by so you can see that you barely threw it. And so what we're doing here is, at least for the heavy throw, we don't want it to stay just on the wide camera. We want to cut to close whenever we're about to land. So what I have is a simple wait for a few seconds and then just cut to the follow cam. But you can mess with this as much as you want. You can do, this is a really good scaffolding for you to do as much dynamic cameraing as you want. Like let's say you have a NPC and you have a camera attached to them, or you have an NPC camera, and then you use code to always lock that NPC camera onto local NPCs or something like that. So whenever you have dialogue with an NPC, you can simply use this switch the camera and lock to it. There's a lot you can do with this. And yeah, it's fairly simple. It's just a follow camera that looks at and follows along. You can see that the position is just a position plus an offset, and it dampenings it over time so it doesn't not right on top of it. It's kind of a little bit behind. It's just a look at disc camera script to just look at the disc. You can do that for anything. You can just look at whatever you want to pass it. Yeah, it's fairly simple. And I'll show you one more time what it looks like so you can see. And a little update while we're doing this. So, devlogs, we're going to try to release them as much as we can, but we're not going to force it out. Every time we have something cool and interesting to show you, we will give you a devlog. And hopefully that's not too long. So, yeah, hopefully you stick with us, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for enjoying.